series, I'll explain to you basic functions of driver assist systems from a common man's point of view. Basically, there are two broad categories: automated driving, where the vehicle is able to sense and perform the actions by itself, and second is advanced driver assist system. So from an evolution point of view, the basic driver assist system is existing already in the past. For example, like the park assistance, airbag, ECU, seat belt, and so on. In more advanced vehicle, it is equipped with sensors like camera and radar, which enables it to perform park automated braking, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and so on. In the future, the autonomous vehicles will be able to perform this task by itself with no support from the driver. In this video series, I'll explain all functions, features, and technologies related to this. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In this video, I'll introduce you to the different sensors and actuators which enables the advanced driver assistance systems in the car. At first, there are the ultrasonic sensors or the parking sensors which are equipped on the front and back of the car for sensing the objects around the car during the parking or slow speed functions. Then there is a camera in front which scans the information in front of the car, like the vehicles, the traffic signs, and so on. And there are also cameras around the car for monitoring the 360-degree view around the car in your display. And there is the front radar, which scans the information in front about the moving objects to calculate the time and distance for the driving functions. And also there are radars equipped on the corners of the car for detecting the blind objects on the blind spot to support advanced driver functions. In addition to the sensor, there are actuator systems like steering, braking, airbag, and audio-visual alerts. So we'll see them more in the next videos. Stay tuned. In the previous videos, we saw about driver assistance systems and different sensors and actuators. In this video, we will see how each of these sensors contributes to different functions and features. Basically, there are the parking sensors which contributes to assisted parking or even the future automated parking functions. Then there is the front camera system which enables the automated emergency braking or the traffic sign recognition in front of the car. And there are also cameras around the car which make the 360-degree view possible. And there is a front radar which keeps scanning the vehicles in front for adaptive cruise control and lane change assist functions. And there are radars on the corner for blind spot detection, for cross traffic alert, and for door opening warning. We'll see each of these functions one by one in detail. Stay tuned. In the driver assistance system and safety domain, these are the three commonly used words: driver assistance systems, active safety, and passive safety. I will explain the difference between these three with some real examples. In a normal driving scenario, what you're using, the functions that you use to make your driving more comfortable and more intuitive are the driver assistance systems. And then the active safety systems are the systems which enables to, at the time of a collision, to avoid or mitigate or reduce the risk of any impact to the driver. And passive safety systems are the systems which are activated after a collision has occurred to make the impact less for the driver or the occupants in the car. We'll see each of them more in detail in the next video. Stay tuned. Last video, we saw about the difference between ADAS, active safety, and passive safety system. So basically, the passive safety system is deployed after a collision has occurred. And the purpose is to protect occupants after the crash, reduce the impact to the passengers and the driver, and mitigate consequences of impact before and after collision. Some of these features which are already available in the cars are the airbags. So the controller for the airbags which detects the collision and deploys it before the collision so that the occupants are protected. The seat belt and the deformation zones to reduce the impact to the occupants in the car. We'll see more about active safety systems in the next video. Stay tuned. Here we saw about passive safety systems. In this video, we'll talk more about active safety systems. Active safety systems and driver assist systems work closely together because the purpose of the system is to monitor the surrounding, detect and avoid collisions, mitigate consequences of impact before and after collision, and to do necessary action before the collision. Some features include automatic emergency braking. The vehicle brakes by itself when it encounters a dangerous situation. Lane keep assist and warning. It helps to keep the lane. And blind spot detection and warning. It helps to detect any objects on the blind spot to avoid any accident. We'll see more of these functions in detail in the next videos. Stay tuned. In this video, we'll talk about the driver assistance function called cruise control. So this is the icon in the car which shows the activated or deactivated status of cruise control. The function of is very simple. Instead of pressing the pedal for the whole time, you can set by your hand the control of in the control vehicle control and set a particular speed. Then the car will cruise at the constant speed. So it's particularly useful for highway and predictable driving conditions. How it works? The driver can set a constant cruising speed based on the driver situation. The vehicle will control necessary actuators like throttle to maintain the same speed until interrupted by the driver by turning on, off, or pressing the brake. How to use it? So based on the vehicle and the vehicle model, you can activate it using driver controls. So this icon will appear on your display. You can set the speed and you can activate by driver control or by braking. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. In this video, we talked about cruise control. In this video, we'll talk about adaptive cruise control, which is an advanced function. So an adaptive cruise control system does the same function. However, it can calculate the speed of the car ahead of you and using the data from the sensors like radar and automatically adjust the speed of the vehicle. How it works? So it's same as cruise control. You set a constant speed and safe distance based on the driving situation, and the radar sensor integrated on the front of the car will calculate the velocity and distance to the car in front and adjust the speeds automatically. How to use it? You activate it the same way you set. In addition to the speed, you also set the safe distance to the front car, and you can also activate and deactivate by driver control or by braking, driver override. The system deactivates by itself. We'll talk more about the more functions in the next videos. Stay tuned. Videos we saw about cruise control and adaptive cruise control. In this video, we'll talk about adaptive cruise control with stop and go function. So this is the most latest version of adaptive cruise control, which is also designed to drive during traffic jam or slow moving traffic conditions, which is not possible in a normal adaptive cruise control system. This is particularly interesting in slow traffic conditions. How it works? When the road is clear, the vehicle accelerates to the desired speed set by the driver. Same way it is operating for an adaptive cruise control. But if the system detects lower vehicles ahead, the speed and distance are adjusted automatically. How to use it? Same as adaptive cruise control, activate it using driver control. This icon will appear on your displays. You can set the speed and safe distance to the car in front and deactivate by using driver control or by braking. We'll talk about more such functions in the next videos. Stay tuned. In this video, we'll talk about the driver assistance functions lane keep assist. So you can see the icon on the right side. The function is to keep the vehicle in the lane. So even if you're drifting away from the lane, it will help you to steer back into the lane and alert the driver. So there are some preconditions. This works only when the lane markings are clearly visible. And when lane markings are covered by snow or dirt, the performance will be degraded. How it works? The front camera inside the windshield of your car will continuously monitor the driving lane. And unless it is indented by the driver, like setting the indicator to left or right, the system warns the driver that there is a drift in the lane and steers back into the lane. Sometimes this is performed together with camera and radar. How to use it? So driver need not do any functions. It is automatically done by the car. You can activate or deactivate using the car functions in the panel. Stay tuned for more videos. In this video, we'll talk about the driver assistance function's blind spot warning. So this is the icon that you see in the display. The function is to warn you while driving the car at slow speed and high speeds if there are any objects like pedestrians or cyclists or other cars which are in the blind spot. Then this system will help you to warn you and also prevent you from steering to avoid any collision. How it works? The radar which are installed on the four corners of the vehicle detects objects like cars, pedestrian, and it warns on the display and mirrors, especially when you want to turn left or right, and also alerts driver in case of any lane change maneuver. How to use it? So there is no driver control needed. You can activate the function in the car control panel. So when this display is shown on the driver display, and or on the side mirrors, especially when you want to change the lane. For more similar videos, stay tuned and subscribe. In this video, we'll talk about the driver assistant function, speed, and traffic sign recognition. So you will see such display in your instrument cluster. The function is this technology will help the driver to recognize the traffic signs put on the road, so like speed limit or drive slow or turn ahead. How it works: the camera installed in front of the car will scan the information in front of the car and detect the speed signs and traffic signs and inform the driver well in advance, and even can also accelerate or brake or alert the driver to the road's information that is captured from the video. How to use it: there is no driver control needed. You can simply activate or deactivate it. The system will show you this information on the driver display or head-up display. Stay tuned for more videos. In this video, we talk about driver assistance function called door opening warning. This system prevents the driver to open the door or gives warning to the driver when there is a dangerous situation is existing around the car, like a high speed or low speed objects like a pedestrian, cyclist, or a car is passing by the car. How it works: the radars which are installed on the four corners of the vehicle detect objects like cars, pedestrians, cyclists, and it warns on the display or mirrors. The car interior warning light is also turned on and also prevents door opening by any objects detected. It also gives you audio warnings in some cases. How to use it? So there's no driver control needed. You can simply activate or deactivate this function in the car panel, and the display is shown on the driver display or the side mirrors. This function is very interesting, especially in very urban or high traffic areas. Stay tuned for more videos. Video we talk about park assistance system. In the parking assistance, the basic system will only help you to find any objects or the proximity to the object. However, an advanced system can find parking locations and also plan the trajectory and park by itself. How it works: the sensors, the ultrasonic sensors equipped on the front, back, and sides of the car can detect cars, free spots, which can be activated by a park assistance system. And the system, once identified, can do the parking by itself by using steering and braking control and planning the trajectory and execute the parking. How to use it? So you have to activate the park assistance system. The car will find the parking spots. You can select the target parking location based on driver preference. The driver should stay in the car, but the car will park automatically, activating the steering and braking functions. Stay tuned for more videos. About park assistance systems, now we are going to talk about automated parking. In an automated parking system, in comparison with the park assist system, the car can identify the available parking locations based on the infrastructure information that's available from buildings and parkings, and it can automatically find parking space, saving all the stress for the driver for finding a space and executing the parking itself. So using the 360-degree sensing technologies like ultrasonic sensors and camera, it helps to detect parking spaces and provide information for controlling the trajectory planning and the parking itself without the support of driver. How to use it? After detecting the parking or arriving at a known parking location, driver can simply leave the car. The car will park by itself. Many latest premium vehicles are equipped with this function. Stay tuned for more videos. In this video, we'll talk about sensors and enabling technologies for driver assistance system. The first one is front camera. So cameras are the only vision systems that can see like a human eye. The function of camera is to detect the driving relevant information from a distance of short range and long range, like objects around the car, lane marking, and static objects around the car. How it works? So this is installed inside the windshield. As you can see, the camera is positioned usually behind the windshield, and this is the range that the camera can detect. while in operation. And it can support functions like automatic emergency braking. So if a pedestrian or cyclist is detected, the car stops by itself. And it can also find lanes and help the car to keep in the lane, and also support adaptive cruise control function and collision warning functions. We'll discuss more sensors in the next videos. Stay tuned. In the last video, we talked about front camera and its functions. In this video, we'll talk about surrounding cameras. So camera is a vision sensor, and the surround camera is installed on 4 different points, two on the front, on the rear, and 2 on the left and right. And it detects up to 60-degree objects around the car for supporting advanced parking functions, 3D visualization, and detection of objects on the blind spot, short range, and small objects which are difficult for the driver to see in normal conditions. How it works? The cameras are installed on the side of the mirror, on the front and the back, and it gives a 360-degree view of the car when, especially in the parking or slow speed conditions. What functions it can support? It can support automated parking, 360-degree view, and blind spot monitoring for short range. We'll discuss more such functions in the next videos. Stay tuned. Talk about one of the most important sensors enabling future driver assistance and autonomous driving functions, the front radar. The radar is a radio frequency device. So the biggest advantage of radar is that it can detect very accurately the velocity and the distance of moving object, even in fast speed operations. So it can detect parameters like distance to the detected object, lateral velocity of the dynamic objects. These are very important for calculating the driving parameters. How it works? So these radars are installed inside the bumper of your car in front, and it can detect a range of up to 300 meters. What functions it can support? It can support adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, and there are many more applications of radar which are used for autonomous driving vehicles. Stay tuned for more videos. Is the corner radar. Although the functioning principle is similar as front radar, the purpose of corner radar is different, especially to detect a wider range, and because as it is installed on the corner of the vehicle, it needs to cover the whole blind spot, and it compared to front radar, it scans only a short range. So a short range, wide angle radars are used as corner radars. So the purpose is the same as front radar. It should detect objects and also to calculate the velocity, to calculate the risk, especially when you're changing your lane or when you're parking your car outside the parking lot. It helps to detect if there are any objects on the cross traffic. So it supports functions like blind spot protection, door opening warning, cross traffic alert, etc. And usually it is shown by this icon in the car, and it is usually installed on the 4 corners of your car inside the bumper. Stay tuned for more videos. These are the most commonly used sensors in the car. This is called ultrasonic sensors, basically supporting parking assist applications. The function is to detect objects around the car, mainly on the front and back, during parking and slow speed operation. So it helps the detection, especially for parking, and also warns for any static or objects or pedestrians. How it works? So they are installed on the bumpers of your car. You can see the installation like this. Usually there are several configurations, 2, 4, depending on the function it supports, and it can scan the area around the car like this. And what functions it can support? It can for parking assistance, object detections and pedestrian detection, visualization of objects and its proximity around the car. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for more videos.